So we are going to get started with our foam rolling on the upper back area. Um, and I'm going to go up and down for just a minute as I talk through our plan for today. So just start out on that last rib and rolling up to where your neck meets your shoulders. So today is posture progress. So different things that you can do to help your posture. And honestly, I could spend an hour and a half on different things related to posture, the things that would help. But with the limited time that we have, I'm just going to focus on one specific area that will help. And that is mainly things that are happening on the front side of the body. And I think you will appreciate this. These are all things that even after like a long day hunched over a computer or driving will be really helpful and getting muscles to relax that would tighten up from those sort of activities. Okay. All right, so like I said, are going to focus on the front of the body. So we're assuming that posture-wise, this kind of thing is what we're trying to avoid or help with. So like when your shoulders are rounded forward and you're a little bit bent over. So what happens with that is if you're constantly in that position, chest muscles get tight and then bicep muscles get tight because your shoulders are rolled in and these muscles get tight. So that's what we're going to focus on today. What we can do to loosen up the chest and the bicep muscles. And I have a picture for you for the bicep so that you can sort of visualize here what we are going to be working on first. Okay, so that's a picture of the bicep. Got a lot of things kind of on it, but first of all, you can see that I put a big anchor. That red anchor is where that bicep muscle anchors, and it's kind of like the same attachment point as the pectoral muscle. You can see the chest muscle coming up there too. But that just helps you visualize, well, if it's pulling on that, it's going to pull the shoulder forward. But that red muscle is your bicep. I drew a big white X, you can see kind of in the crook of the elbow, because we don't really want to massage in that area. So kind of avoid that, stay above that. So you're working in between that anchor point where you can see the top of the shoulder and then that X point. And we're going to start by foam rolling that area. And if you can see the lines of thumbs, got thumbs up there. So like 3 separate lines of thumbs up. That's going to be one of the movements that we do, working along those lines of thumbs. So remember those lines of thumbs. And for starting here, we're going to take our foam roller. We are going to be face down. A pillow might be comfortable for you in this position, but what we're going to do is have our arm bent like this and the foam roller, kind of the end of it, moving like this on our bicep. So we'll start with the left arm. Like I said, pillow if you like. And you're just moving maybe a couple inches to the left and a couple inches to the right. You can rest your hand, that left hand, on the ground if you want, palm down. And you're working to kind of move along the length of that bicep muscle. And this is going to help loosen that up. So the foam roller is moving back and forth. So as a massage therapist, I've seen lots of clients who have poor posture. And I was going to get Catherine, who is also a massage therapist, if she was here today. She can't make it today, but I was going to get her to confirm with me that a lot of times what happens with these clients that come in with poor posture is you go right to this bicep muscle and it feels like a steel cable, just so tight. So this is certainly something, and it's kind of like a domino effect. If it's tight, it's going to pull your shoulders forward even more. So getting this to relax is one of the many approaches in beginning to roll those shoulders back and keep them from rolling forward so much. Okay, so now if you remember the line of thumbs, so there's like 3 separate positions or 2 separate positions. You're just going to kind of move down the length of the bicep with your foam roller. The foam roller is going to stay put, and you're going to do a thumbs up, thumbs down motion. So you're actually moving your muscle over the foam roller. And we'll stick with the left arm, still lying on your stomach, but stick your arm straight out to the side and start up on the top of your bicep, close to that anchor area. And what you want to do is just rotate your thumb like up to the ceiling and rotate your thumb down to the floor. So you are doing this kind of thing, and you can feel that bicep muscle kind of rolling over top and getting massaged against that foam roller. And once you've done a few turns in a specific spot, you can kind of move the foam roller down a little bit towards the elbow, just a hair. Like I said, you'll probably find 2 or 3 spots that you can work on. And this can be a tender area. So if you're feeling like, wow, this is a lot of pressure, just kind of try not to put the full weight of your arm on the foam roller, and that'll really help make you feel like it's not so much pressure. And once you've worked down towards your elbow and gotten as far as you can get without going into the crook of your elbow, just kind of start back at the top, twisting that thumb up to the ceiling, down to the floor. Good. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the other side and rinse and repeat. So we're going to start with that bent arm movement where the foam roller itself is moving back and forth. So you're going to lie your arm on top of that foam roller and you're moving in and out. So you kind of have to move your whole torso from left to right to get that foam roller movement underneath of your bicep. All right. Okay, so now let's take it to the position where our arm is straight out, palm is facing the floor, and you're just twisting that thumb up to the ceiling and twisting it back down to the floor. And we're going to work stepwise, kind of from the shoulder area down to the elbow in those line of thumbs that I showed you on the picture. Good. Okay, so we've reached the stretching part now that we've gotten a lot of circulation into our biceps, loosened it up a little bit with the foam roller. We're going to work into a stretch for the biceps. So there's a couple different variations here. What we're going to do is interlace the fingers behind the back, kind of try to roll your shoulders back as you have your hands in that position. If that's enough of a stretch, just hang out there. If you want, what you can do is kind of lean forward and try to push your hands up to the ceiling. That just intensifies the stretch a little bit. However, if you like the way I showed you first, just keep with that. Whatever version feels good to you. And here, kind of let your head hang if you're doing this version. Don't feel like you have to keep your head up. All right, stand up. And let's put the other foot forward. Step into this stretch as well. Let's just hold this for a few more seconds. Really feeling those biceps stretch. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay. All right, biceps. Got them all loose now. So we're going to move on to the chest. The rest of the time we're going to spend on the chest because biceps are important, very important, but the chest has a lot to do with pulling your shoulders forward if it's tight. So back to the picture time. We're going to take a look at the chest right now and the pectoral muscles. Okay, so we've got on the right here. You can see I've put a big blue circle on the area we're going to work on. Obviously, going any lower is uncomfortable for very obvious reasons, but we're going to focus. We can do a lot of really good work by working on that upper part of the pectoral muscle. You can see on the left side of that picture, I put actually a foam roller kind of in the position on top of the muscle, how we're going to have it. But I've drawn a couple things in there. I put a couple of graphics on there to kind of give you some landmarks to avoid. So that I've put an actual bone, picture of a bone, where if you feel like in the front of your shoulder there, you can feel that bone. Try to stay away from that. It's not going to feel comfortable to put the foam roller there. And then obviously the dotted line, you can feel where your clavicle is, your collarbone. So we're going to stay below that and away from that bone in your shoulder. And that is going to give us some really a good area to work on for our foam rolling. So just to kind of show you what I was showing you on the picture, right? Kind of have the foam roller right there. So that's where we're going to be. And we're actually just going to kind of relax and hang out and not do much except for enjoy the compressive feeling that relaxes that pec muscle. So we're going to start, let's start on your left side and just face down on the mat. Remember, you're adjusting the foam roller so it's below that collarbone and also not so far out to the side that you're feeling like it's pressing on that shoulder bone where I showed you the bone in the picture. So pillow here again if you want. Honestly, we're just going to hang out and get it into a spot, work it into a spot on that pec muscle. Anywhere in that blue circle area that I showed you on the picture that feels comfortable for you, because we're just going to hang out here and take a deep breaths. Take a few deep breaths through this compression. Compression is another massage technique that I use sometimes for clients. And sometimes you just got to kind of wait it out, wait for that muscle to relax a little bit under that pressure. And it really does work. All right, remember to have a couple deep breaths here. It's okay to reposition it if you feel like it's been in one area long enough and that area is starting to relax. It's okay to adjust it, half inch or so further in to your chest, or just keep it where it's at. Another deep breath here. And your arm again here is just kind of resting to your side, no specific position. It's just everything is still as the weight of your body gives you that compressive force against the foam roller. If you're taking deep enough breaths too, you can almost feel that compression intensify in a good way against the foam roller because your chest is expanding against the foam roller. All right, let's try this on the right side. So again, stick that foam roller at that diagonal position, keeping it away from the bone in your shoulder, but also below that collarbone area. And just work it into a spot where you're going to be comfortable hanging out with some compression for a minute. So we do a lot of like active things in the stretch and roll class, like moving back and forth. But I think it's also really important to do movements like this where we're just relaxing, feeling our body and letting gravity do the work. And it can be really powerful to just kind of lie still like this and feel your muscles relax. So let's just take a couple more deep breaths here before we move on. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do a lot of work to stretch out and open up the chest. I think you'll really like this portion of our class. Lorena, I know you have the same foam roller as me. Liz, do you have one that's short or long? Okay, looks like we all have the same one. Okay, great. So hopefully you brought your couple extra pillows because we'll need them for the next few things we're doing. We have done this one before where we are lying on our foam roller and you want it to support you want it to be on underneath your head, and the pillows there are there because you want to support the rest of your body. Put your strap at your side so you can easily grab it. We're not using it right now, but just make it accessible. And what we're going to do is get into position. So your head, like I said, is on top of the foam roller, and then you scoot those pillows up until they are in contact with the foam roller underneath your body, and then just kind of rest. So I'll give you a minute to adjust there, and if you need to grab more pillows or whatever you need to make it comfortable for yourself, because we're going to be in this position for a little while. So pretty powerful stretch here, just opening up your arms straight out to the side. And you are just letting gravity do the work here. This is another one of those, you're not very active, you're just, back of your hands are on the floor beside you, arms are straight out to the side, and you're enjoying the feeling of that stretch across your chest just from being in this position here. All right, take a couple more deep breaths before we move on to the next thing here. You need to intensify this stretch, just try to put more of your forearms in contact with the ground. That's going to pull a little bit more across your chest. Okay, so we're going to do one more foam rolling technique on the chest and then finish off with more chest stretching. So Same position that we were just in, where we were kind of just hanging out, lying on that foam roller, where the foam roller was in that chest area, but we're going to be moving our arm against the foam roller. So on your stomach, same position where we were hanging out, getting that foam roller to be below your collarbone, off of that bone on your shoulder. And what we're doing is just a sweep in this position. So your palm is facing the ground and you are sweeping the arm up and sweeping it down. Okay. Take a couple more deep breaths. Okay, now we're going to switch, do that on the other side. With that foam roller in on that pec muscle. And we are sweeping your hand up towards your head and then down towards your feet. All the while, palm is facing the floor. This is what's called an active release technique. If I was doing it for someone, giving them a massage, I would be, having my fingers or my fist into the pec muscle while they move their arms up and down like this. But here is your at-home technique for this. You can do this yourself. It's a great release in the chest. Deep breath. Okay. So as promised, more chest stretching. So we're going to resume that position, lying on top of the foam roller with our head supported on top of it and the rest of our body on those pillows. You're going to need your strap this time around. Okay. What I'd like you to do is hold your strap or your towel, whatever you have, at your waist and put your hands out like on either side of your hips. So your thumbs are contacting your hips. That's about how far apart I want your hands to be. And what you're going to do is take your hands up all the way over your head. Everybody has different shoulder range of motion, so you're going to just do what's comfortable to you. But we are holding onto the strap as we have our hands back behind our heads as far as you can comfortably go. So this is just another way to stretch those chest muscles. And so you're just going to hold it behind you for now. Now I want you to widen your grip a little bit. So move your hands out to the side a few inches on either side. Still getting a chest stretch here, but slightly different area in the chest. Definitely take some deep breaths here as you're feeling that stretch through the chest. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take that same grip that you have on the band. Hands are behind your head as far as you can go, but then you're taking your right hand and moving it down towards your right side. So that means it's pulling your left arm over your head. If you're having trouble visualizing, this is what I'm doing, kind of just like this, while I'm lying on the foam roller. So this gets the chest a little bit, but we're also getting into the lats and a little bit on the side of the torso, which is good as well. And let's go to the left side or the other side. That left arm is pulling on the band and that right arm is being moved up over the head. Okay, and now we're just going to do a few passes forward and back. So bring that strap down to your hips and then bring it over your head. We're just kind of slowly going back and forth. So what this is doing is it just kind of like lubricates and loosens up that shoulder joint, which if you're struggling with a posture and everything is tight in those connections where your bicep hits up in your shoulder and your pec hits up in your shoulder, then sometimes that just causes some joint tension, and you can work a little bit of that out just by doing this kind of motion, like back and forth. And that all plays into helping your shoulders and your chest and everything be in the proper alignment. All right, and we're going to pause one more time with those arms up over your head as far as you can comfortably go back. We're going to take a few deep breaths here. All right, and there you have it. Posture progress, making progress. Hope you feel a little bit more opened up in your chest and shoulders now. Thank you for coming. We've made it through our last stretch and roll. The first stretch and roll starts actually on Saturday for May. And I will send that sign up out in the email. And the happy hour, of course, is tonight. I'm excited to see you tonight, 6 o'clock. And that's it.